Let's get started. Start with listening, and then learn new words and practice them in sentences.
Have you ever found yourself lost in a new city, unsure of how to ask for directions in English? A sense of adventure is one thing, but when our journey turns into a confusing maze of unfamiliar streets, that's when the real challenge begins. Imagine, you've just arrived in a bustling city. The skyscrapers tower above, the city's pulse races around you, and the street signs might as well be written in hieroglyphs. You're excited, but also a bit overwhelmed. You need to find your hotel, but you're not quite sure how to ask for directions. Maybe you're worried about your English, or perhaps you just don't have the right words at your disposal. We've all been there, haven't we? That feeling of being a stranger in a new place, where every turn leads to another unknown. It's a common situation that many of us face while traveling. No need to worry. By the end of this video, you'll have the skills to ask for and understand directions in English. First, let's make sure you know how to start the conversation. Here are some common phrases for asking directions. Navigating a new city can be an exciting adventure, but it can also be a bit daunting if you're not sure where to go. But worry not, we've got you covered. Let's delve into those essential phrases that will help you find your way around. Picture this. You've just landed in a bustling city, and you need to find your way to the hotel. A simple question like, "Excuse me, how do I get to the Grand Hotel?" can be your ticket to a helpful response. The phrase "excuse me" is a polite way to get someone's attention, and "how do I get to" is a clear and concise way to ask for directions. Now suppose you're exploring the city and you want to know if a certain landmark is nearby. You can ask, "Is the museum far from here?" This not only lets you know if your destination is within walking distance, but also opens up the conversation for more detailed directions. Another useful phrase is, "Can you show me on the map?" This might come in handy when the verbal directions seem too complicated, or you're in a noisy environment where it's difficult to hear. You might also find yourself in a situation where you're not sure of the exact name of the place you're looking for. In such cases, you can say, "I'm looking for a coffee shop. Is there one nearby?" By stating what you're looking for instead of a specific name, you allow the other person to provide options that you may not have known about. Also, don't forget the power of please and thank you. A little courtesy goes a long way, especially when you're asking for a favor. So a phrase like, "Could you please tell me the way to the park?" followed by a sincere "thank you" can make your interactions much more pleasant. Remember, politeness opens doors, especially when you're asking for help. With these phrases in your arsenal, you're well equipped to navigate any city. So go ahead and explore without fear of getting lost. Stay tuned for our next segment on understanding basic directions. Now that you know how to ask, let's make sure you understand the responses. Here's how to decipher basic directions. Getting around in a new city can seem daunting, but with a few key expressions, you'll be navigating like a local in no time. Let's start with turn left and turn right. These are straightforward. If you're told to turn left at the next corner, you'll want to make a 90-degree turn to your left side when you reach the next intersection. Conversely, if you're instructed to turn right at the traffic lights, you'll turn to your right side when you get to the lights. Next, we have go straight. This one's easy too. If someone tells you to go straight for 2 blocks, it means you should continue in the same direction without turning for the next 2 blocks. Now, what about "it's across from"? This phrase is used to indicate that your destination is directly opposite something else. For example, if you're told it's across from the park, you should look for your destination on the other side of the park. Another useful phrase is, "it's on the corner of." This means your destination is located at the intersection of 2 streets. For instance, "it's on the corner of Main Street and 2nd Avenue." Tells you to look for your destination where these 2 streets meet. Lastly, "it's next to," or "it's beside," are phrases used when your destination is directly adjacent to another place. If someone says "it's next to the library," your destination is right next to the library. Remember, these directions are often given from the perspective of the person giving them, so it's important to make sure you understand where you are starting from. In the end, it's all about listening carefully, visualizing the route in your mind, and not being afraid to ask again if you don't understand. With these expressions, you're well on your way to finding your destination. In addition to directions, knowing some key vocabulary can be extremely helpful when navigating a city. Now, let's dive into some useful vocabulary related to places and landmarks. First up, we have crosswalk. A crosswalk is a designated area where pedestrians can safely cross the street. If someone tells you to go straight until you reach the crosswalk, then turn right, they're instructing you to keep going straight until you come to this pedestrian crossing and then make a right turn. Next, we have intersection. An intersection is where two or more roads meet or cross each other. If you're told to turn left at the next intersection, you should make a left turn where the next road crosses the one you're on. Moving on, we have subway station. This refers to the place where you can catch a subway train. If you're searching for the quickest way to reach the city center and someone suggests you take the subway, they're advising you to head to the nearest subway station and catch a train. Speaking of city center, this term refers to the main business and commercial area of a city, often filled with shops, restaurants, and attractions. If someone says the museum is in the city center, they mean that the museum is located in the heart of the city. Let's not forget about roundabout. A roundabout is a circular intersection where traffic moves in one direction around a central island. Directions might include take the third exit on the roundabout, meaning you should count the exits as you go around and take the third one. Finally, we have block. A block is a group of buildings bounded by 4 streets. For instance, if you're told the library is 3 blocks away, you know it's located 3 streets over. These are just a few examples of the kind of vocabulary you might encounter when asking for or receiving directions. With these words in your vocabulary, you'll be able to understand more complex directions and find your way with ease. You've learned a lot in a short time. Let's quickly recap. Today, we've navigated the streets of a new city together, learning key phrases to ask for directions. Remember, excuse me, how do I get to? And is it far from here? Are your go-to conversation starters. We've also explored how to understand basic directions. Keep in mind phrases like turn left, go straight, and it's across from, as they'll guide your way. We dived into some useful vocabulary too, introducing words related to locations and landmarks. Words like crosswalk, intersection, subway station, and city center will be your compass in a bustling city. By mastering these phrases and vocabulary, you're now equipped to ask for and understand directions in English while exploring any new city. Next time you find yourself in a new city, don't panic. With these skills, you'll be navigating like a pro in no time.
Let's learn new words and practice English at level A2. Street. Street, a road in a city or town. Example, where is Main Street? Turn. Turn to change direction. Example, turn left at the next corner. Block. Block the distance between 2 streets in a city. Example, walk 2 blocks, then turn right. Cross. Cross, to go from one side to the other. Example, you need to cross the street. Intersection. Intersection, the place where 2 roads meet. Example, the bank is near the intersection.